If you've been dealing with things like stomach issues or migraines or even attention deficit disorder, there's one factor that could be contributing to all of it.
That factor is food, and there's one-of-a-kind test to combat the problems that's benefited many patients at the local wellness facility, the Lohad Center. Food Antigen consultant Leslie Moini and clinical manager Dawn Peters are here from the Lohad Center to explain. Hi guys, good to see you again.
Thanks for having
Always
us.
good. So Dawn, for whoever's not familiar, our viewers that aren't familiar with the Lohad Center, tell us about the wonderful things you guys do there.
Well, at the Lohad Center, when you enter, you'll first notice that we're not your typical doctor's office. We have a spa-like atmosphere, but yet we still are a medical practice. We offer a lot of different services, starting with things such as bioidentical hormone replacement, massages, facials, non-surgical aesthetic things such as body sculpting, Botox, fillers, supplementation, enzymes, one of my favorite, HCG weight loss, and we are now so happy to announce that we're offering a new diagnostic test for a delayed food antigen testing.
Which is really cool. So if you're out there and you have headaches and stomach problems and ADD and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what to do about all of this, the amazing thing, Leslie, is this might be tied into a delayed food allergy. What in the heck is this?
Absolutely. And you know, delayed food allergy or a food intolerance will occur when a patient or a person is unable to digest a protein. And what happens is that protein or fragment goes into places that you don't want it, tissues and organs, and causes inflammation.
So let's break it down. You've got my chart right there.
I do.
I went in, I did the test. You just took some blood and you sent it in. It was very simple. It wasn't. I know there's others where they prick you and all that, but this is a very simple test.
This is a very simple test. It's a one-of-a-kind test, as you mentioned, that is a blood test that's highly specific and selective, and it checks 132 different foods. And from your tests, we were able to look at which foods that you needed to remove from your diet. The information comes back within a week. And anything that's in red, you need to take out of your diet. And I know that you had eggs, soy, shrimp, milk, were some of the ones on your list. And from what I understand,
I was very strict with it. I listened to what you guys said, and I said, I'm gonna try this. Even though there was things in there that I really liked to eat, I got rid of all of it, and I felt so much better. I used to have congestion or sinus things going on all the time. I never knew what it was. Then I stopped doing it, and I tell you, just a few days ago, I ate something with cheese. And I woke up in the morning and I was sinusy, I had all those problems, and even the kids got sick, and I never got sick, but I knew exactly, when I ate the cheese and I woke up the next morning and had that going on, I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, and
I was able to pinpoint it and I cut it back out again.
That's truly knowledge is power, and knowing what is causing discomfort and inflammation that can cause any sort of chronic illnesses and disease state like irritable bowel syndrome, sinusitis, GI issues are real common.
I'm afraid if I did this test, it would go the following order: red wine, Guinness, chocolate, strawberries, coffee. I mean, it would just be, I would be like, no, but it is knowledge. But then you have the choice as to whether you want to feel like this.
That's
so how
right.
do these sensitivities form?
Well, they form in the GI tract, and basically the GI lining becomes hyperpermeable and allows a lot more absorption, and that really causes the chronic problems. So the patient really has a couple choices. They can choose to find out what foods to eliminate, and they can also choose to add supplements, which can be a great benefit as well.
And so, Dawn, I'll talk to you about this. Now, if, like I did, I just cut out all the things that were bad for me, but does that necessarily mean we're good and we don't need to do anything else?
No, actually it doesn't. What we need to understand is that 90% of diseases start in the gut or the intestinal tract system. Just by simply eliminating those foods doesn't necessarily always help. Many of the foods out there that are the offenders still have those offending items in the ingredients, so just eliminating them does not necessarily help. We also find that when we're creatures of habit. We tend to go back to foods that we're comfortable with, and we also tend to go back to foods that we just like. So using a good absorption or a good type of digestive enzyme or probiotic can then help the body to process, break down the foods, pull the nutrients out of those foods, allow it to reduce the intestinal inflammation. For patients who can't absorb carbohydrates or have a gluten intolerance,
what are some of those? Specifically, what are some of those enzymes that we can take?
Oh, well, those enzymes, the gluten intolerance things like a new product we have called Carbo-G. Carbo-G is actually something that will allow us to break down carbohydrates and then turn around and put breakdown for people who want to have a gluten-free diet so that the body can absorb grain products much better.
And you have top-of-the-line pharmaceutical grade enzymes there as compared to some of the other products out there on the market. So you know you're getting a good product. If someone were to come into your office now, 20% off, right? Just for First Coast Living viewers. Tell us very quickly, we're out of time, but what can they expect?
Great. In our office, we are offering, like I said, the 20% off for anybody who mentions this segment, and ends at the end of June.
End of June. 20% off. So you get a great deal for something that's going to make you feel better and do the food test.
Absolutely.
And it's like a 2-for-1 special.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And they have smoothies for you when you go there.
Yep.
They've got
Scented candles,
scented
facials.
candles. It's comfortable. Everything.
It's fun.
Everything.
Place.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming in. We want to thank our friends at the Lohad Center for sponsoring the segment and, of course, telling us about that 20% off discount for the enzymes as well as their other wellness services.
If you want to find out more about that or anything that they have to offer, just go. Testing at 20%. Well, you already got into all that stuff. Just call them at 645-8778 or log on to lohadcenter.com.